we can bowler them. Oh.
Okay then people, welcome back to a new series of Ark. As of now, well, as of yesterday, for when I'm recording this, we have the Homestead update, which is of course new S Plus features, along with the kibble rework. And apart from that, we have a new revamped style for my channel, in case those of you that hadn't noticed with the new intro. Apart from this, we will also be doing a few PC features, but that's something to talk about another time. Once again, I'd like to thank Jade Plays Games for hosting the server. And the idea of this one is we're going to get through, finish the island, as I never did on single player, and also try and get all of the achievements. So all of the dossiers, all of the dinos tamed, all of the artifacts, and I've said the best bit to last, which is of course ascending off at the highest level. So without further ado, let's jump onto it. So we're jumping in after I've been on a little bit on the server. I had a look around. I was actually intending on starting on the north area of the island. However, it didn't exactly go too well, as we shall now have a quick look at. So, first little bit of fun we had was of course trying to punch out an RG, as, you know, who doesn't want to knock out a dinosaur with your bare fists? Of course, being low level, being only in cloth armour, this didn't exactly work, but, you know, it was worth a go, and it was worth a giggle. I didn't have anything to lose, so why not? However, as you can guess by the broken bones, it didn't last long, and more importantly, it didn't work. There we go. So, punching out an RG, bad idea. Now, we did have another death, as you can see by the green marker there, but sadly I didn't record that. However, it pretty much happened exactly the same like this. A raptor jumped on top of me, pinned me, beat me down, and being just with my bare fists again, of course, it didn't exactly work. Not to mention the fact that there was two of them, and I'm quite sure one of those was an alpha. Jumping on to the next one, we got the two. We actually put the bowlers up this time, but of course raptor again, I didn't get the bowlers out in time, and then of course the alpha coming in pretty much sealed the deal, dead and done. So, after being a bit cocky, we decided to start again. Back down here on the south coast, my favourite little starting position. This one little island which has the metal and crystal deposits on it. Just collecting up the basics at the moment. We gave up trying to get the stuff back with all the alpha raptors there. I could have probably done it in the end, kited them away or something, but, you know, I was bored. I wanted to actually get a base started. I wanted to get some stuff started, and for what I had on me, it wasn't really worth it. So, I did manage to get myself a little dilo here. I think it was level 75 when I knocked it out. And it's nothing fancy, but it was quicker than building storage. Anyway then, we're going to jump up the hill here, and we're going to go off and find ourselves a nice little spot just to put a starter area so we can get some resources sorted out, get some metal melted down, make up a smithy, get some metal weapons, metal tools, etc, etc, and get on with the game. Now of course, one thing is, it's mostly peaceful here, but the further up the hill you get, the more dangerous it does start to get, of course, as well. In a second around here, you will actually notice that it's not quite as friendly as we thought it was, because there was actually a a tickle chicken, as we like to call them, right there. In fact, there it is, staring at us. So we do want to avoid that at the moment with our basic stone tools. So we're going to kite around it quickly, hopefully without it noticing us. And the reason I'm coming up here is because obviously you can go up the hill and get some very rich metal deposits and the crystal and all such, and then of course there is a dossier at the top which we haven't grabbed yet. We're going to wait till we get some high level dinos, because of course, for those of you that aren't aware, and I'm sure most of you are, if you actually go over the dossiers mounted on a dinosaur or a tame, then of course you and the creature both get an XP buff, so always worth it to get those levels up a bit quicker. Now, we're going to start out in a second, building up our bits. We're having a look what we need for the triangle sections. And we are going to try on this server to actually use the S Plus a lot more. You know, get some impressive builds in, get some nice towers going and such like. Maybe a little castled off area. Still haven't quite decided, but getting to play with some new bits on Ark, who can really say no? Now here's our closest metal deposit. It wasn't the best with just a stone tool, but 40 metal's better than nothing. It's enough to get our smithy done. It's enough to start with our tools, so good enough. Next thing, of course, we just got to collect up some bits and actually get what we need to get some foundations down, and then we can just build a nice little outpost. As I said, this is going to be a temporary one because we are only here just to get some metal built up and such, so we've actually got some tools before we go to where I'm planning, which is definitely a lot harder than this area. Let's just say that for now. That you'll have to wait till episode 2 to find out, sorry. So, something to look forward to. Yay. Anyway, we got our first little triangular foundations set out here, so we're going to start placing them down, have a play with them, and build up something and see how they work, and then go from there. Now, the shapes that these make are a lot nicer. You know, you can make something like this, which is of course a 6-sided shape, and they work fantastically for towers and that. You can just expand that a bit more. You can also use just basic square foundations in there as well to make it a bit larger. As we can see here, we've built on a bit more. We've put the double doors on, which at first I thought maybe it was just a normal door or 2 normal doors to put on, but no, there is actually a separate engram for the double doors, both for metal, well sorry, both for stone and for wood. I'm guessing metal as well. We've managed to get a couple of forges down. We've got a couple of mortar and pestles down. Put the bed down there. Of course, we've got our Dilophosaurus in to store bits for now. And now we've managed to get our smithy in, so we've made enough metal up. So we'll chuck that in. Going to get the metal tools going, and that's basically where we need to get to. As you can see there, we've already unlocked the pike, crossbow, hatchet, and the pick. The pike, I'm not rushing into at the moment because I don't plan on spending too long in close combat with anything. And of course the crossbow we are going to get as soon as possible, for the simple fact of we want to do that bit more damage and have something a bit more accurate, and of course it can be used underwater for killing and knocking stuff out. Now, one thing to point out here for those of you that haven't noticed on the gathering bits and such, the rates on this server are very boosted, but you know, we all know the basics. We all know that basically harvesting is just a case of it's going to take longer. I mean, the levels and such are boosted as well. If you have a look at my stats or the dino stats when they go up here, you will notice that they go up a lot faster. It's only really the weight in that though. I mean, the health doesn't really go up much faster. Don't believe the stamina goes up any faster. So, you know, it's all just about getting through it quicker really. I suppose you could argue that that makes it all easier. Maybe it does, but it's still the same sort of thing you do. It's just a case of you can put half an hour in rather than a couple of hours. So, all good. We're going to go out and get a bit more stuff going up. And of course, the one thing we still need to do is put a ceiling on this area. So we're probably going to use the triangular ceilings for that, the sloped ones. Get a few more dilos, because at the end of the day, at this low level, you're always going to want a bit more hide. And we're going to run off and get our first couple of deposits with our nice new shiny metal pick. We did make the hatchet, but at the moment, as we're only coming out for metal, there wasn't really any point in picking it up. So, where is this series going to go different from the rest of them? Well, for one, we're going to try and go back to the way that we used to have things, which is doing a lot more with other people. As I said, Jade's going to be on this server as well. And of course, we're going to try and get some more done with Crazy Bear again, as that's always a giggle. Maybe get some more frogs up for some random battles somewhere, who knows. But for now, like I said, we're just making a start, getting the bits we need. And I've already got a place in mind for where I'm going to be going. Here's a quick look at the map for those of you that were wondering where we actually are. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, the easiest place you can come and get metal and crystal when you're on low level starting. And as you can see there, of course, yeah, it's very boosted on how much you get. But, you know, I'm not going to complain on that. At the end of the day, it's still not exactly a walkthrough, as we might have noticed by the way that I was trying to be a little bit too cocky when we started. For now, though, we are literally just going for low bits. I mean, the dilo wasn't anything high. We're going to aim to try and get ourselves a flyer, which, as it is going to be the end of, or sorry, the beginning of the next episode. And that's not going to be too high, but it's just to get us around. With the way the stats are, we can boost the weight, we can get a bit more metal to and fro, a bit more stone and such. we can get what's needed built, and we can get ourselves to our new base location at that point. So for now, we're just going to bounce some levels into what we want and take it from there. Now, the S Plus bits. Obviously, for those of you that know how S Plus works, we don't have everything. There's a lot of stuff on there. I believe there's a variable size gates, there's extra options for glass walls and such and all that jazz, but we weren't going to get everything. We never were. You know, for those of you that expected it, then sorry to disappoint you, but it was a bit much to hope for. But we have the important bits. We've got the triangular bits, which are going to make a hell of a difference for building more interesting bases and shapes and such. We've got the new fence foundations, which help us actually put them down and keep a fence level over uneven ground. And there's also the double doors, which, for those of you wondering, you can actually fit a pterodon through a double door, but I do believe that you won't fit an Argentavis through it, so perfect for building traps. And apart from that, we also have the bulk storage when you get to, I believe it's when you get to tech level. I haven't unlocked it yet. I haven't really looked, to be honest, because it's not concerned me yet. But at that point, you can carry a lot more stuff in it than you used to be able to. And I'm not sure, but I think it's a case you can drop it down and it'll pick the right stuff up from a set range. When we get to that, we will look into it further, and I'll let you know at that point. So, as you can see, we did get a bit further on the building from just laying down the foundations. We're actually going to try and sort out the ceilings now. And more importantly, it's somewhere safe to log off. Now, this is the first night I was on here. This was around about midnight, maybe a bit later. And to be honest, I didn't want to stay up too late, as being a family man, I had school runs in the morning. So, we're going to chuck in the metal, get that burning up. We're going to leave that burning overnight. But of course, before we go off for the night, we are going to put the roofs on here. So, we'll get that done now, and we'll join you back at the end of that, I think. And here we are, back with a roof on. Not exactly perfect, as you can notice by those slight little wings at the top. But it's a learning process using these new materials and the triangular sloped roof parts. This little bit at the top was actually an open triangle, and I think if we'd done it right, we could have put a triangular ceiling there. However, to do that, we'd have had to put some more ceilings across, because you can't connect them just straight to the sloped roofs. Now, of course, we left ourselves at a good spot. We've got metal burning up both in this forge and in the other forge. We've made up a little bit of narcotics. We've made up a little bit of spark powder. Of course, by the morning, we should have ourselves a decent amount of charcoal. We've already got all the metal we need for the tools. So that was pretty much a good spot to leave it as far as I was concerned. We haven't got any storage yet past the smithy and the dilo, but with how quickly the weight went up on the dilo and the few bits we're getting at the moment, that was more than enough. So we were going to leave it here, hence the wave bye-bye. However, just as I went out to get a few more resources after this recording, I did have one little surprise visitor that I just couldn't resist grabbing for a tame. And of course, here it is, a pterodon, literally just flying into my wall. It's nice and easy. It's only a low level one. Just chuck a bola on it. Nearly used the wrong thing and killed it with a pick. But instead, we're just going to, rather than waste any narcotics, just punch it out until it's unconscious. And there we go, nice and easy. So there's our first flyer. It's not going to be anything fancy, but it'll get us around until we get a high level flyer. So, at that point, I'll say farewell to you all. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you stay tuned for the next episode. See you then. Bye bye, people.